Alright, so I've decided that I want to rank these creatures for a creature capture game I've been wanting to make. So, this video is heavily inspired off of Mandacats, because they've been also trying to make their own creature capture game, and they decided to, rank their creatures that they've made for that. Go check their channel out. I will leave a link in the description. Do it. We need more creature capture games out there. And the more support these get, the more there will be. But anyways, yeah, I got inspired off of that video to make one ranking my own creatures, and I've never shown these guys off on my YouTube, so I figured I might as well rank these under similar criteria as what they did. You got perfect, love it, need some work, I got issues, and boo. Not exactly the same tiers, but same general idea. This is completely unscripted, so these are just kind of my immediate, honest thoughts on all of these guys. I have them ordered in terms of when I actually made them, so this one is the first. This is the one I made like 2 days ago. I will go over their bestiary entries as I go over them. So, without further ado, this intro has gone on for 1 minute and 45 seconds too long. So, let's start into the first one, Scartatus. Scartatus is the Sovereign Glow creature. It is bestiary number 86. It is mono fire type. Height 4 foot 3 inches. Weight 11 pounds. Description: a prideful creature, Scartatus was highly desired among noble folk for both its beauty and because people believed it was an animal representing an ancient divine being, said to grant fortune and prosperity. Its tail fire burns large and bright while at good health. If sick, its fire becomes nothing but small faint glows. It'll become very evident as we go further along this that this was clearly the first creature. However, because it's the first creature, I do have a level of attachment to it. I mean, this is my Rhydon, basically. It was the first. It wasn't the first creature I conceptualized, but it was the first one I drew. Speaking of ones that I conceptualized earlier, this next one is one that I've had for a long time. But, yeah, Scartatus, though. Its name is a mix of Scorch and Pavocristatus. I don't know how to pronounce them. But it's the scientific name for a peacock. So, yeah, fairly simple name. Not much else to say about it. Moving on to the next one, though, we have bestiary number 100, Serpidon. It is the Sea Guardian creature. Type is Water Arcane. Length is 20 feet 7 inches, and weight is 624 pounds. Description: a long-revered creature said to inhabit the depths of the great oceans. Serpidon is often deemed as a guardian of the seas. It has a usually kind disposition, but when it's young, the seas it has made its territory are threatened. It will not hesitate in attacking. Serpidon is capable of swimming at speeds that break the sound barrier. It has been known to make its nest in old shipwrecks, and has the ability Blood of a Dragon, which Blood of a Dragon is basically my equivalent to a dragon typing. So instead of it being an actual type, it's just an ability slash trait slash whatever you want to call it. Serpidon I have a lot of attachment to because there's a couple of creatures in this list that were originally Fakemon that I made back in like middle school when I wanted to make my own fan-made Pokemon game, which obviously never happened and will never happen because... But, yeah, Serpidon was going to be my pseudo-legendary for that game. And actually evolved from, I think, a flying fish it was going to be. Again, I have a lot of attachment to it. It was fucking hard to draw because I couldn't get the wings right, and I still don't think they look right. Scartatus, Serpidon, and a couple of these early ones. Well, I think it's mainly Scartatus and Serpidon. I want to redraw these guys because I've gotten so much better. Um, but no, it's like outside of needing a touch up on the art, which I ain't really judging too much. I personally really like this thing, and it's going to basically continue to be my equivalent of a pseudo legendary. Uh, Nataloon. This one is also one that came from the Pokemon fan game idea, and was going to be the regional bird. It, oh yeah, I forgot, Serpidon. Its name is a combination of Superior, Serpent, Poseidon, and Dragon. Um, because the Pokemon fan region was going to be based on like the Midwest, more specifically like Minnesota, and it was going to inhabit what that region's equivalent to Lake Superior was going to be. Uh, but anyway, yeah, Nautilune, the regional bird, and will basically kind of continue to fill that kind of role. It is bestiary number 13. It's the subaquatic creature. Type is mono water. 3 foot, 25 pounds. Um, the lungs of a Nautilune are uniquely adapted to underwater life, having 2 specialized feathers on its back which store air. These feathers act as pseudo-lungs, storing air in a one-way chamber, allowing air to flow into the lungs and not allowing air to escape, allowing the Nautilune to remain submerged for upwards of 5 days before needing to come up for air. This has allowed it to thrive in deep waters, providing a constant supply of air even when far from the surface. And you can actually see on the art there's the 2 little gray bits on the back. It's meant to act like an oxygen tank. It's supposed to be a diver. Outside of, I think the design might be a little plain, and I think it's fine enough, though there's nothing terribly much to write home about. Though, again, much like Serpidon is an attachment because this has been a very long, or an idea I've had for a long time. And its name is just a combination of nautical and loon, because obviously that's what it is. Actually, I could put that in love it. There's nothing terribly majorly wrong about it. Next up is Magna Umbra. It is the Tangling creature, bestiary number 54. Its type is Phantom and Void. Height is 25 feet and weight is 5 pounds. These creatures spend most of their time drifting along the deeper reaches of the ocean. They're capable of remaining completely motionless for days on end, waiting for unsuspecting prey to swim into their multiple 20-foot-long tentacles, where they will then tangle up the prey and devour them. Its prey often has little time to comprehend what's going on, as well in the dark depths of the water, their tentacles are nearly invisible. Despite being motionless most of their life, they've been recorded as swimming at speeds upwards of 25 miles an hour. While no attacks on humans have been reported, we don't know if they would hunt humans given the chance, considering the massive depths they live in. I was actually pretty proud of Magna Umbra. I want a lot of my creatures in this to kind of be based on very unorthodox creatures that I don't really think many people even really think about. Obviously I'm still going to have common ones, but Magna Umbra is based on the Magnafina squid, which is that really damn long one we know like nothing about. And I'm fascinated. One thing that you should note, I am like fascinated yet terrified of oceans and ocean life. So it ain't hard to think of ocean creatures. Um, but yeah, Magna Umbra, its name is a combination of Magnafina and Umbra, which really, this is the one thing that I kind of have against Magna Umbra. I think its name needs some work. But that's about it. I kind of plan on the ocean in this game to be kind of terrifying because it mimics what the ocean is like in real life. So, naturally, you can imagine in dark ocean waters, swimming by tentacles that are nearly invisible and getting tangled up. Yeah, obviously it's based on my own thalassophobia. But anyway, next up, we have a lot. Okay, so not every creature in my game evolves. In fact, a Pokemon like evolution kind of thing is more rare. It's kind of a special thing if a creature is able to evolve. Um, but here's one that does, and this probably would be the first one a player would encounter. And this is another one from that old Pokemon fan game idea, and was meant to be the regional bug. This is Peasant Pillar. Uh, it is bestiary number 20. It is the peasant creature. Its type is Arthro. Length 1 foot. Weight 1.6 pounds. Peasant Pillar lives in tightly knit colonies high in trees where each individual plays a role in sustaining the community. It works tirelessly to gather food and maintain the colony with its labor to the Monorex it serves without question. Though its life is one of toil, its efforts ensure the survival of its kind and ultimately makes them the backbone of the colony, the true workhorse of the wild. I love this thing. I was so proud of this idea when I thought of it back in, again, like middle school. Its whole line is based on the monarch butterfly, which monarch as in king and queen and all that. But then thinking of making the entire line kind of based on a caste system, with obviously the caterpillars being the peasants, the chrysalis being the knights, and then the actual butterflies being the king and queen. Um, Not to mention, this is actually the creature that has the oldest art of it that I still have. Actually, no, it's the only creature back when they were fake mon that I actually drew. Um, and yeah, I suppose it's hard for me to see my own improvement in my art, but when even I'm able to, yeah, it's clear that now my art has gotten better. If I can make a community post, yeah, I will make a community post showing off this line's old art. But yeah, again, this is one of my oldest ideas, but I don't care. This not only does this have the kind of the old favoritism that some of these creatures have, but again, I just love this creature both from design and concept, and I love the name Peasant Pillar so much. Uh, but then yeah, it then later evolves into Chevalis, which is bestiary number 21. It's the night creature. Its type is Arthrometal. Its height is 1 foot 8 inches. Weight is 23 pounds. The description: only the most dedicated and loyal peasant pillars are chosen to metamorphose into Chevalis. Encased in a protective chrysalis resembling armor, they stand as the colony's first and strongest line of defense. Chevalis guard their Monorex with unwavering loyalty, fending off predators and rival colonies with calculated precision. When it's time to attack, it skillfully manipulates their sword using the silk threads, allowing for swift and controlled strikes that maximize their reach and effectiveness. Much like Peasant Pillar, I love this one. Not nearly as much as Peasant Pillar because I you can't deny Peasant Pillar, man. I think Peasant Pillar's design is top. Chevalis looks neat. Maybe a little awkward, but I mean, it's the middle stage. It's going to look awkward. You know what? No, I think the whole line is perfect. I'm already just going to put all four of these guys up. I think this is probably one of my best creature concepts, personally. Um, but I suppose next up then is Monorex and Monogena, which, yes, this is a split evolution based on whether it's male or female. So Monorex is number 22. It's the king creature, Arthrometal type, 2 feet 6 inches, 15 pounds. As the supreme ruler of its colony, Monorex wields absolute authority over the peasant pillars and Chevalis of its kingdom. Its commands are enforced without question, and any act of defiance is met with harsh punishment. Exile from the colony at best, but far worse fates have been observed. Despite its ruthless nature, the colony thrives under its disciplined rule. Again, like the others of this family, I love this one, and it has the most drastic glow up, I think, from its original art. Whilst Chevalis and Peasant Pillar kept their kind of general design when I moved them to my current art style, Monorex received probably the biggest overhaul, which again you'll see when I eventually post its artwork. But then Monogena, the queen evolution, bestiary number 23, the queen creature, Arthrometal type, 2 feet 4 inches, 15 pounds. Monogena shares authority over the colony with her corresponding Monorex, embodying both power and elegance. While Monorex fortifies its colony with its imposing presence and defensive tactics, Monogena leads with a more aggressive approach, commanding swift strikes and decisive actions. Her role extends beyond battle, as her keen instincts and nurturing guidance help ensure the colony's prosperity, even in seemingly dire circumstances. That's going to kind of be a bit of the gameplay gimmick, because Monarch is more defensive, Monargina is going to be more offensive. But again, I think these guys' designs and concept are just absolute top. I am very proud of these guys. Okay, if there's one thing that should become evident with this next creature is I like bugs. I'm gonna have a lot of fun making bugs. But yeah, the next creature, Morikumo. It is bestiary number 74, the Silk creature, pure Arthro type, although I could make it Arthro neutral. Height 7 feet 9 inches, 64 pounds. The Morikumo constantly produces long, delicate strands of silk from the ruff around its neck. Despite their fine appearance, these threads are remarkably durable, capable of supporting weights up to 30 pounds without breaking. Its silk is highly valued for crafting both elegant garments and sturdy ropes. Ancient legends tell of this creature weaving the very clouds in the sky, earning it reverence as a divine figure among early civilizations. Morikumo is kind of in the case of Magna Umbra, although probably more so. Now, I love Morikumo from a design, from a concept. However, I don't think I did the design very much justice. I think it's probably the most bland-looking creature. Like, it is just a silk moth with a ruff around its neck. I barely did anything to actually change it. Now, one thing that's not made evident in its art is that it's supposed to constantly, have long strands of silk coming from it, which was depicted in the original artwork. But because white background, white silk on white background, it didn't really show up very well, and I made the mistake of not really bothering to try to rectify that. So I just kept its official art not having the strands of silk, which is kind of important to its design. Uh, but even then, the design I think still needs work. I kind of wanted this to be a bit of a Volcarona-like figure, with it having, reverence among ancient people and Moth. Um, but yeah, no, this doesn't stand up to Volcarona at all. Uh, so I got issues both in terms of design and its name. I also think Morikumo could be better. I forgot to give name inspirations for everybody. Yeah, Peasant Pillar is Peasant Caterpillar. Chrysalis is Chrysalis. Chivalrous. Monorex is Monarch and Rex, which is Latin for king. Monargina is Monarch and Regina, or Regina, whichever one it is, which is Latin for queen. Morikumo is Bombyx Mori and Kumo, which is Japanese for cloud. Bombyx Mori is the scientific name for a silk moth. Even then, I have some issues with its name. And yeah, overall design. I like the concept. It just needs. Yeah, I got some issues with it though. It's probably the creature that I want to kind of redo the most, as it's kind of the most disappointing to me. But now we go from a creature that I'm very disappointed to a creature that I think is constantly the one that actually gets the most amount of attention anytime I show people these, because it's so out of place. We have bestiary number 65, Paraphage. It is the parasite creature. Its type is decay metal. It is 2 feet tall and 38 pounds. The paraphage remains an unexplained anomaly, with origin speculated to either be alien or the result of biological experimentation. This creature attaches to a host using its serrated limbs, and with its beak-like protrusion, injects its DNA into the host's body. Within 24 to 48 hours, the site ruptures, releasing multiple replicas of the paraphage. These newly formed creatures quickly disperse to infect additional hosts. This parasitic behavior has been observed in humans with deadly results. This thing is a bacteriophage. Instead of attacking bacteria, it attacks, big multicellular organisms. It is 2 feet tall. Imagine a 2 foot tall that thing attaching to you and injecting it with whatever goop it's got in its head. Not pleasant. And then again, within 48 or 24 to 48 hours, then the site where it injected it completely ruptures. And I guess depending on where it is can determine survivability, although Yeah, it's not a pleasant thought, and I love this. If anything, it's probably. I think it shows kind of in terms of these creatures, like Magna Umbra was kind of had some of its implications with being, we don't know if it would hunt humans if it was given the chance. Paraphage, I think, actually is kind of the bit where I really show kind of my intentions with the whole vibe of Everwild, being I want it to be a more mature creature capture game. Whilst Palworld is mature, it's kind of mature in that kind of, I would almost say a juvenile way. Not a knock against Palworld, I absolutely goddamn love that game. Um, but, it's the haha Pokemon with guns, slavery kind of, mature. It's more played for a joke. Everwild, I do want to be a bit more actually taken seriously. And that includes showing kind of this messed up stuff when applicable. Uh, like in the game, I absolutely want a moment where you're able to see this thing infect something. But Paraphage, I think it's perfect. Maybe needs a little touch up on this. Well, I mean, a lot of these older designs really could use a touch up because I've just gotten better at art ever since. Um, but no, I think design is great. I think concept is great. I love the name, which is Parasite and Paraphage. Yeah, Parasite and Bacteriophage. Um, I have no real issues with Paraphage. Um, now we have, okay, yet another old one that was meant for Pokemon. It was a Fakemon. We have Cornkern. It is the Kernel creature, Bestiary number 36, plant type, 10 inches, 1 pound. Cornkern often gather in clusters of around 25, forming groups that scurry about pulling different kinds of mischief. They are known to engage in synchronized stomping routines, possibly as a form of communication or to ward off predators. Their usual movement patterns make them both comical and strangely mesmerizing to observe. I love Cornkern and its evolution. This is another one that evolves because I just really like the concept. And it has that bias of I thought of this very long ago, and it's just kind of attached myself to this idea. But then there's this evolution Popkern, which really I think the only thing that it needs to work on is its design. Um, because I probably could have done the internal fire better. Um, but yeah, Popkern evolves from Cornkern. It is bestiary number 37. It is the kernel creature again. Its type is plant fire. 1 foot, 0.8 pounds. When cornkern are exposed to extreme heat for a prolonged period of time, they burst open from the inside, changing them into popcorn. The heat triggers an inner flame that burns continuously within their popped interior. Despite their fiery nature, popcorn tend to retain their playful group behavior, often seen bouncing about and using their internal combustion system to fling themselves into the air, making popping noises. This behavior is both playful display and a defense mechanism, as their unpredictable movements make them hard to catch. As said with Cornkern, this one does have, elderly bias or seniority bias. It's an old idea, and in fact, the original. I don't think I have the original art for them, but I made the art for Popkern and Cornkern far before I made even the original art um for Peasant Pillar, because I made it as like an art project back in like 7th grade, I think. We were supposed to do like popcorn art or something, and I decided to actually make a Pokemon out of it. Um, I swear I remember seeing the art for it not too long ago, and it's what reminded me of this creature. I'll need to look again, but I'm not sure if I still have it. Uh, but yeah, it's another case where I really like the concept. Oh, yeah, and actually the original art project had a third evolution, which was called Pop Flare, but it was very unnecessary. So it was basically just a bigger popcorn. Um, but yeah, I like. Okay, I don't think there's a single creature where I don't like the concept behind them. Um, but obviously some have their own issues. But next up we have Nafia. Yes, this name was basically completely stolen from the PAL, but I think, okay, if it comes to it, I will rename it. It's just that Nafia is such a perfect name for this creature that I really wouldn't want to change it. It's it's a mafia cat. Nafia. It's perfect. It's bestiary number 55. It's the gangster creature. Its type is pure neutral. It's 2 feet, 15 pounds. Nafia is typically found in communities often consisting of a single family or several closely aligned families. Known for their ruthless behavior, these creatures will aggressively defend their territories and resources. Oftentimes, they attack and harass other creatures for their own benefit. They are very serious when it comes to traitors within their groups and have frequently used their claws to execute any traitors or intruders without hesitation. Their loyalty to their family is absolute, and any outsider attempting to infiltrate the group can expect little mercy. I love the design, I love the concept, I love the name, even though I didn't come up with it. Um, like it's got a little bow tie, no, not bow tie. It's just got a tie pattern on its chest. It has a hat. It's got fur that resembles a cloak or a coat. I don't know. Really, the thing that's keeping it from perfect is really the name. Not because I don't like the name, but because again I didn't come up with it, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to use it. Again, I will name it if it comes to it. But now, again, Navi has such a perfect name, and I don't think the PAL has anything to do with, the Mafia, so I don't know why it's called that. I mean, I checked its, wiki, and I didn't see anything mentioning the Mafia or gangsters or anything like that. Uh, but anyways, next up, we have my first legendary, which is Repharos. Bestiary number is unknown. It is the revitalization creature. It is Arthur Fire type, 2 feet and 200 pounds. Or no, 12 feet and 200 pounds. Legends tell of a creature that appears in the aftermath of particularly devastating natural disasters. Its wings scatter a fine ash, yet the lands it visits always bloom anew. We have reason to believe the civilization that once occupied the archipelago once revered it as a god. Now, while creatures like the Morikumo were considered divine beings, but later disproven as more members of its species have been discovered and the tales around it have shown to be more exaggerated, it's unknown if this creature is in the same situation as no specimen, dead or alive, has been seen of this. Only depictions in old artwork and carvings, so it could be a solo member species. Repharos is the only creature 100% directly based on a Pokemon. Morikumo it was kind of based on the concept of Volcarona's whole thing of being this revered ancient creature, but it wasn't directly based on Volcarona, aside from Moth. Okay, Morikumo was kind of based on Volcarona, but kind of loosely. Repharos is the only creature to absolutely 100% be based on a Pokemon. Um, and I also just, because it's not really good, I'll put it in love it. I think it's, yeah, I got some issues with the design. But Repharos is based on Ho-Oh. And it even has a counterpart that I just have yet to draw that's also based on Lugia. Um, but yeah, the main issue I have with its design is just I did the wings not very great. The wings look like dried leaves. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to be tattered like cloth. Um, but otherwise, then in terms of the rest of the design, I really like it, especially the ash pile on its back, since it scatters ash across the landscape to act almost like a even fertilizer. I guess would be the best kind of term for it. Um, it's also based on the Cecropia moth. At least that's the specific kind of moth species that it's based on. Repharos' name is based on renewal, and the Greek phoros being bearing or carrying. Yeah, like I said, outside the wings, I don't really got any issues with Repharos. I love its design. I love its concept. Again, it's the only creature absolutely intentionally based on a Pokemon. And even then, I could probably just do something very similar to Ho-Oh anyways, because Ho-Oh is kind of directly pulled one-to-one from its original myth, or the myth that inspired it. So I could have just done easily another bird of rejuvenation, but I wanted to do something a bit more original. But anyways, next up, beast theory number 38, Nibsie. It is the nibbling creature. It is neutral type, 1 foot, 15 pounds. A highly social and adaptive rodent-like creature, Nibsie has become well accustomed to human environments. It is frequently encountered within homes where it pilfers for food and collects soft materials from furniture to construct nests. On particular scientific interest is Nibsie's unusually malleable genetic structure. Its DNA exhibits a remarkable responsiveness to environmental factors and external stimuli. This biological velocity has resulted in observed mutations corresponding to every currently documented elemental type. In controlled and wild environments alike, Nibsie has been seen undergoing direct type-based mutations, suggesting it is an evolutionary pathway. Suggesting its evolutionary pathway is not only reactive but deliberately adaptable. Nibsie is my Eevee. Simple as that. Nibsie is my Eevee. It's going to have an evolution for every type because I'm not wussying out like Pokemon does. Nibsie is going to have an evolution for every type. I just obviously haven't made them yet. But yeah, I plan on each evolution being based on different rodents. Like the water one, I plan on being like a beaver muskrat, and so on. I love the design. I think I did. Nibsie wasn't like when I drew Nibsie, it wasn't exactly like how I had it envisioned in my head, but I think it worked out fine enough either way because, like, look at it. Look at its eyes. Big old eyes. And it's also the first creature that I tried with a new coloring scheme because before I just used the fill bucket tool to fill in everybody and did very basic blocky shading. With Nibsie, I actually tried a different approach to coloring, being using the watercolor brush and actually manually coloring in everything. And I think it shows because I think in terms of coloring, all the creatures have been far better ever since I did that, moved to that kind of style. So Nibsie also marks another turning point in my art style, skills, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, on top of, I'm excited to design Nibsie's evolutions, which we do have one coming up right next, which I made right after I made Nibsie. This is Eldrimorph. It is bestiary number 53. It is the anomaly creature and is Eldritch type. It is 1 foot 6 inches. Weight is 3.34178931739403928447 pounds. The result of a rare and poorly understood transformation of Nibsie, Eldrimorph does not appear to evolve so much as unravel. Its body floats limply as if held together by forces external to our dimension. The creature's original eyes are sealed shut, but a single unblinking eye, bloodshot and visibly dilated, dominates its forehead, which gives those who interact with it a constant feeling of being watched even when not being looked at by it. Its tail appears to phase in and out of portals leading to unknown realms. On closer look, one researcher noticed what sounded like soft jazz music emanated from the portals between bits of low static hum. As if struggling to catch a station on a radio, instruments attempting to measure its presence often return conflicting data, including negative weight values and impossible biometric readings. Eldrimorph does not seek food, comfort, or interaction. It simply hovers, watching. Some researchers have reported feelings of vertigo, lightheadedness, paranoia, and even completely forgetting about interaction once away from Eldrimorph after prolonged observation. All studies involving Eldrimorph are currently on indefinite suspension, pending further ethical review. I'm excited to design Eldritch-type creatures because it basically gives me an excuse to just make SCPs. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I love Eldrimorph because it's setting the standard, and was the first Eldritch type I made. And I was actually dreading making Eldritch type creatures because I just had no idea what to do for them. I had zero plans for how to even pull it off. But Eldrimorph is the thing to kind of break that initial barrier that was being set between me and designing Eldritch types. And it was after designing it that, again, I came to the realization, wait a minute, I could just make SCPs. Because you look at a lot of SCPs, they would fit the Eldritch type, because the Eldritch type isn't so much meant to be like cosmic horror and all that kind of stuff. It's meant to be kind of more the textbook definition of Eldritch, which is unknowable, anomalous, and that kind of stuff. Again, SCP. Because, like, take a look at 106. That could be a Decay Eldritch type. Look at 096. Eldritch type. 939. Eldritch type, I guess. 173. Probably more standard with Earth, but it could probably also be Earth Eldritch. It could continue to go on. There's a lot of SCPs that would easily fit the Eldritch type, and that's kind of what gave me the standard for kind of what I'm expecting in terms of designing Eldritch types. Because I already got another Eldritch type planned up. It's a Bobbit Worm. And you'll just have to see what that thing is when I eventually get around to designing it. But next up, we have bestiary number 70, Maymora. It is a Defend creature. It's Phantom Water type, 12 feet, and 74 pounds. Originally believed to be extinct after widespread fin harvesting, Maymora appears as a revenant of the species, retaining both physical form and spectral traits. It targets humans specifically, often attacking the extremities like hands and feet before dragging victims towards the shore. While most survive, many require amputation. Notably, Maymora will attack anyone it sees, even if it gets a glimpse of it. It'll dart towards the person. The large dorsal fin observed cutting through coastal waters is often the only warning of its presence. You could not have expected something like this would happen. Maymora, yes, is based on shark finning. Which is funny, because I thought of the creature like 15 minutes after being reminded of shark finning being a thing. And yeah, this is another case where I love the design, I love the concept, I love the bestiary entry. Because you can see the phantom fins that were cut off. It's tangled in a fishing net. It's even got a hook in its gills, which is hard to see with this low resolution photo of it. Yeah, no, actually, I'll put this in perfect. I think it was also the name being Maim and, mainly Maim, and Aura sounds, ocean-like. Also, Nipsey is just meant to be nibble with a cute suffix, basically. And Eldritch is Eldritch Morph, which, much like Eevee having Eon for its naming scheme, Nipsey's evolutions are going to have Morph. But yeah, Maymora, I love the thing, and again, it's one of my proudest creature concepts. I got nothing bad to say about it, really. Next up is bestiary 89, which is Scovindra. It's a capsaicin creature. It's fire water type, height 4 feet, weight 82 pounds. Despite its small size, Scovindra is among the deadliest aquatic predators. It generates absurdly high levels of capsaicin, which it weaponizes to simulate fire underwater, breathing out a blaze of chemical flames. While not true flames, its potent chemical compound can cook flesh from the inside out, just as fire does, leaving prey scorched and stunned. Its own meat has even been seen self-cooking after death, which that and its very unique taste of its meat makes it highly sought-after delicacy. Those wanting to try it, though, should take caution as its Scoville rating exceeds 25,000. Or no, 2,005,000. Yeah. And only the bold, or foolish, dare to take a bite. Yeah, I knew that I wanted a dragon shrimp creature ever since just hearing about the dragon shrimp. Except I had no idea what to do with it that would actually make it, like, unique. And then somehow the concept of spicy shrimp came into my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. So the capsaicin that it produces has a chemical, or is so chemically potent or strong that the chemical burns it causes is similar to fire. And even whilst underwater, the way that it breathes it out makes it resemble fire. So Scovindra, yeah, is basically able to breathe fire underwater using the chemical that it produces. Really, my only issue with it is probably the design. Because after actually finalizing the design, there's several things that I realized. One, the head looks a little off on the body. Two, um, I definitely think the top legs of it should be kind of more standard dragon arms and not stay shrimp legs the entire way through. Those are my two biggest issues with it, although I don't really know what to do with fixing the head. But again, I think the top arms should be, more dragon-like um instead of shrimp. Oh yeah, Scovindra's the second dragon type. No, not dragon type, the second just dragon. It has blood of a dragon. I did not write that in the bestiary entry, which I need to update. Um, so yeah, Scavindra and Serpidon, those two are dragons. And speaking of dragons, the next one up is another dragon. It's Sylphorn. It is bestiary number 37. No, not 36, 35. It's the verdant creature. It's plant decay type, 1 foot 6 inches, and 20 pounds. Sylphorn are reclusive dragons that dwell high in forest canopies, rarely descending to the forest floor. Their limbs are shaped like leafy fronds, allowing them to move effortlessly among branches without drawing attention. Despite their small size and gentle appearance, Sylphorns are highly toxic. The sharp thorns lining their body passively carry poison absorbed from a specific species of poisonous plants they feed on. This plant is usually extremely deadly to all of their fauna, but somehow the Sylphorn seems immune. In return for their immunity, Sylphorn helps the plant reproduce. Its seeds pass safely through their digestive systems and are deposited far from the parent plant. While generally passive, they can unsheath a pair of venomous fangs when threatened, delivering a potent bite capable of stunning much larger creatures. Their quaint movements and symbiotic role in the ecosystem have earned them reverence in certain forest cultures, where they are seen as sacred protectors of the wild. The ability is Blood of a Dragon, again. So this is my second dragon. Initially, my biggest issue when I made this was I thought the design was far too bland. But looking back on it, I actually think it kind of plays a bit to its benefit. Because, it's spiky. It gets the point across. You don't want to touch the thing. And is actually based on um it's based on the Blue Sea Dragon. I can't remember its proper name, but it's based on the Blue Sea Dragon, which is that very tiny blue, really neat looking thing that you're not supposed to touch. Because, yeah, it's highly venomous or poisonous. With something like that, I don't really know which one's the proper term, because, going off of that, that anecdote or whatever, it's like, you bite it and you die, it's poisonous. It bites you and you die, it's venomous. Well, you do either and you die, so I don't know which one that falls under. Hence why I just called it toxic. Um, but yeah, really, yeah, my biggest issue with it was the design, but even then, I think there's, a good in a simple design. So, really, I don't really got much issue with it. And Sylphorn is a mix between Silva and Thorn. And then last, but 100% not least, because I'm definitely going to make more creatures. It's not just going to be 20 in the game. We have Crispine, which I'm surprised it took me until creature number 20 to make one based on a fox, because foxes are my favorite animals. Crispine is the spike creature. It's ice type, 3 feet, and 25 pounds. Crispine is a reclusive Arctic-dwelling creature known for its thin ice spines that form along its fur. These fragile, needle-like shards are produced by freezing water vapor or by diving into near-freezing lakes, which the water then freezes and condenses into clusters, binding it to its coat in layered rows. When threatened, Crispine raises these spikes and snaps them off with a quick flick of its tail, launching them outwards or scattering them across the ground. Even when not in danger, Crispine sheds these brittle spines naturally as it moves, often leaving behind dense patches of frozen quills around its territory. Biting or striking one directly is dangerous, as the spines are sharp enough to draw blood and scatter on impact and also shatter into smaller pieces, embedding fragments of anything foolish enough to attack it. While the spines will melt eventually due to normal body heat, the spikes are fragile to the point trying to pluck out any leads to them fracturing more, which can lead to even more spines embedding into the victim. This thing is actually based on a personal experience of mine. Um, so I live on a lake, and one year it was very near winter time. It was either very early spring when the water was still like near freezing, or very late fall. I think it was very late fall because I believe we were taking out the boat lift. Um, but yeah, again, it was cold enough to where the water in the lake would begin freezing. And when we were taking the boat lift out this year, the water froze in such a way that basically the entire thing was just filled with these frozen clusters of spikes, like ice spikes. They were typically in these clusters, but they were very easy to break, and when you broke them, they just shattered into more spikes. So, yeah, I had to go into the water. I mean, sure, I was wearing chest waders, but still, I had to go into the water to help with removing the boat lift and having to not get pricked by all these spikes in the water. And in fact, I actually did get pricked to the point where one of the times actually drew blood. I got stabbed by a piece of ice. So, I really wanted to make a creature based on that experience, but I kind of struggled to think of what to even do with it because, like, I was not sure how exactly to translate that experience into a creature that wasn't just sentient ice chunk, basically. Because whilst I have nothing against object creatures, I would rather avoid them if I'm able to. But anyways, um, yeah, it's been it being based on a personal experience, it being a fox, and me generally actually kind of quite liking the design. I'm putting it in perfect, but that is likely 100% personal bias. Um, yeah, that's all 20 of the creatures that I have this far. If I had to pick a favorite creature, oh god, that'd be difficult. This is like choosing between favorite children. Because each have their own points. Well, I already know Chavalis, and it's probably my least favorite of the perfects. Nothing against it, it's just that everybody else has something so much better going for them. You know, I'll try to order them. God, it's these top 5 that I'm struggling with. Okay, I'm almost certain Memoirs and Paraphagia are not my favorite. It would have to be between these 3. Now, which one of these 2 I like more is up to debate. But I don't know which one of these 3 I like more. Considering I'm most proud of Peasant Pillar, out of all these creatures, Peasant Pillar is probably my most proud name. I'll go with that. Monorex and Monogine are interchangeable to me. So there. Um, at least in terms of the perfect row, that's probably my ranking in terms of what's my favorites. And yeah, there. That's all my creatures. I'd like to hear to whoever happens to find this video which creature you like most. Because I love talking about these things. I like talking about what I make. I get enjoyment out of seeing people, you know, interact with my stuff, especially enjoy it because that means mission accomplished. I want to make things people enjoy. So, hearing people take enjoyment and actually liking these creatures is going to be great for me. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say, so I'm waiting until this is 30 seconds, and